I feel extremely lucky to have been raised in a family that loved the outdoors. My mom and dad both took my brother and I all over the place. And one of the reasons that I love hunting and fishing as much as I do comes down to my parents. My mom was a role model to me, and through my whole life, well, she was the one that was always there, out hunting and fishing and taking us along. My dad was too, but it was just nice to have the entire family together. Now, after all these years of watching her, seeing some of the big bucks that she was able to take in Paynesville, well, it was time for me to bring my mom along on a hunt. Now, she had never been out west hunting, so I decided an antelope hunt would be perfect. Now, I was bringing her to one of my favorite locations, Powder River Outfitters with CJ Gaskell out in Broadus, Montana.
It was unbelievable, the rolling hills they have and how far you can watch an antelope. And they just went for miles and miles and miles. It just seemed like it was never ending.
I decided for Mother's Day, well, I got her a brand new Mathews jewel, just like mine. And she practiced and practiced and practiced.
In fact, I practiced so much that I actually Robin Hooded one of my arrows.
Well, my mom was ready for the hunt, and her and I set out with Jeff, who was gonna be our guide at Powder River Outfitters. Well, he had a little different plan. He said, I've got a buck coming, and there's one good place to be, and that is up in a tree stand. We said, of course, no problem. We will give it a try. We had our decoy down below, right about 10-15 yards, and we thought, you know what, if we can bring one of these antelope in, it would be well worth it to sit all day.
We had a huge antelope come in, but he wouldn't come in any closer than 50 yards. My limit was really 30.
We were watching the antelope out in the distance. We could see them come in nice and close every once in a while. But the big bucks just weren't coming in.
It actually takes a lot of patience. And it was 90 degrees out there. It was very, very hot. And I'm not one to like the cold, so she brought me on a warm hunt, but I didn't realize it was going to be 90 degrees. But it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
We sat, we watched, and we really had a wonderful time up in the tree stand. But Jeff said, you know what, time to move to a new area. You guys put in your time on that hot tree stand. We're gonna try a blind, try something different. There's a lot of antelope around this country, and we're gonna look for something new.
Gear Rundown is brought to you by Peak Antifreeze. Right with your car and wallet. Peak Run True.
As a bow hunter, you really need to be careful about what type of clothes you're wearing on stand because you've got animals coming in extremely close. Of course, my goal is to try to get all my deer 20 yards and in. That means any movement at that time, well, you might spook them off. So you want to make sure that you have a jacket that's extremely quiet. Not only for just sitting there, but when it comes time to draw, well, you want to make sure that when you get to full draw, you're not moving around and making noise. This jacket that I have on by Field & Stream, well, it is perfect. It's called the Women's C3 Every Hunt Softshell Jacket. It features no scent C3 technology as well as two-way bonded fleece, which allows for easy movement on stand. When you're bow hunting, you need that. You want to be able to get to full draw without any resistance from your clothing. And that's what you need. You don't want something that's baggy and sloppy, but you also don't want something that's so tight that you're not going to be able to get that mobility. Another thing this has, well, I actually have a nice little hook that comes out of the back right for my safety harness. That way I can have my safety harness underneath, zip up my jacket over it, and be safe on stand. The other thing, this fabric also has a breathable hydro-repellent fabric, so that way it'll repel stains and water on stand. So overall, you've got just a really nice jacket, and when you're bow hunting, you want to make sure all the gear is in your favor, because when you've got animals in close, you do not want anything to go wrong. Now the very first day we went out, well, he had a little different plan, up in a tree stand. So my mom and I went up, sat on stand, and it was windy, but it was hot. And it is not that pleasant sitting in the sun all day. So that next morning, we got everything set up, and Jeff said every single day there's antelope in this alfalfa field, so it should just be a matter of time. We put our decoys out right out in front for a nice close shot.
It was quite an experience to have those antelope come up close. I mean, they're right in front of our window, and they have the most beautiful eyes, just the most beautiful animals actually, because you really don't get to see them from a car. All you see is their white butts. I really enjoyed getting to see how the antelope look and actually their mannerisms and what they do out in the wild. The buck never came in close, but the females and the little ones were right up front. They were playing.
I was shaking. I thought for sure he had 10 more yards and he'd come in and we would have got him. He's a monster, I think. Now he's just out there wondering if he should come back. And I hope he does.
As that entire herd of antelope kept coming in closer and closer, that big buck, well, he was just staying in the back and he was watching it. And it's hard to believe at the different attitudes of these bucks, because I thought as soon as he saw a buck and his does and fawns around it, that he would come over and try to run them off, giving us the shot. But for whatever reason, he wasn't doing it. The buck just didn't care. But it was pretty cool to see these animals in close. Because we had such a good day sitting on that alfalfa field before, well, my mom and I decided to go back to that same blind and try it again. Now that big buck, well, he came in again, and again, he just wouldn't come into our decoy. I don't know if we needed a little realism to our setup or what, but he just wouldn't come in close. Honestly, the time flies when you're in there. First off, my mom and I were having a wonderful time. I'm usually gone all fall, but now this time, well, we had 5 days to spend together out in the blind and to be hunting together. I couldn't think of a better place in the world to be, or someone better to be doing it with.
This segment was brought to you by U.S. Sportsman's Alliance. Our heritage, our fight. Protecting hunting from coast to coast.
Did you know hunters and target shooters have paid $6.8 billion in excise taxes since the inception of the Pittman-Robertson Act of 1937? This was a self-imposed tax by sportsmen to fund direct conservation efforts across the country. Just another fun fact showing how sportsmen and women are helping make a difference.
Winchester Deadly Passion is presented by Cuddy Back Digital, hard-hitting Easton Arrows, Hunter's Safety System, Winchester Repeating Arms, Swarovski Optic, Scent Killer Gold with Hunt Dry technology. Apply it, dry it, and go hunt. Rage Broadheads, leading the evolution in lethal technology. U.S. Sportsman's Alliance, protecting hunting from coast to coast. And Golden Triangle Whitetail, your hunt of a lifetime awaits.
After we sat another day, we just decided this buck, for whatever reason, he's not coming in. We're gonna try something totally different. We moved to a new blind midday, and one of the fun things about antelope is they're always up. They're a really social animal. They're not out hiding in the trees like the deer are. So again, we got in the blind, set our decoy up, and we actually put something right out at 30 yards, so that way as soon as a buck crossed that, well, my mom would know he's inside range and she could take the shot.
And he didn't come in, of course, he was like 50 yards. And then his biggest mistake was one of the females wasn't coming, and he came back to try to round her up to get her out. It's a beautiful animal. It's a nice buck. I'll be very proud of it when I get it. So he only went over the hill and he just fell over.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Plenty of work.
And I was so happy for it. It's great to see everything pay off, and it makes it a lot more fun. This had been a wonderful trip from start to finish.
Oh, wow, look at that. Look at him. Nice animal. It was kind of a neat feeling to watch them and then to finally get that shot. And Melissa's there with the camera. I really didn't know what to do. She goes, "You shoot them, I will film them." Been after him for 4 days. Couldn't have asked for a nicer first antelope with my bow, with my daughter Melissa.
We had so much fun seeing all the antelope up close, but to see her finally get that, to have everything come together, and for me to be there sitting right next to her filming the entire thing, well, that was really wonderful.
It was an enjoyable time to be with each other. We actually have a lot of memories from hunting. Wild game and the fish that we get, we always eat it. And anything that we get, wildlife we get, you name it, we eat it.
Powder River Outfitters did it for us again. We had a lot of fun, and my mom got to go home with an absolutely beautiful buck.
Tip of the Week is brought to you by Field & Stream. Trusted brands, timeless traditions.
One of the great things about this hunt with my mom in Montana, well, I get to bring her hunting for something totally different. Something we used to do as kids. Well, we used to spend a lot of time duck hunting, pheasant hunting, trap shooting, but I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little while since I've done it. So I'm back out at the trap range, but luckily now I've got something that can really help out. Winchester came out with the AA tracker, and what this is a way for you to see why you're missing. If you go out and shoot at the rifle range, well, you can see on paper exactly where you're hitting and you can adjust. But when you're shooting at clay targets, you just know that you missed and the target landed without being broke. So now there's a way to see where you're missing. Now what happens is actually there's a revolutionary new wad inside of it that has an 1/8 ounce shot right in the cylinder of it. Now what this does is keep it stable so it'll follow right in the center of that shot string. So if you're missing it, well, you can see why you're missing it. It's extremely important because when you shoot, well, it's coming out at 1,200 feet per second. There's no way the human eye can see exactly where it's hitting. But by having a wad that stays with it, now you can see, and when you can figure out why you're making mistakes, well, that's the best way to fix them. Now they offer this in a 12 gauge and 20 gauge, and the nicest thing is, depending what kind of day you've got, you have orange wads for cloudy days or dark backgrounds, and then you have a black one for those bright bluebird sky days. So you're really covered in any instance. Now you can get out, practice, and learn from your mistakes, and now with Winchester Tracker, well, you can see why you've been missing.
Winchester Deadly Passion is presented by Winchester, the American legend. Mathews, catch us if you can. Field and Stream, where traditions begin. ScoutLookWeather.com. Download the free Deer Log app for your smartphone. Moose Utility Division, demand the brand. Bog Pod, versatility defined. M&P by Smith & Wesson. And Peak Antifreeze, right with your car and wallet. Peak, run true. Closed captioning is brought to you by the 4-in-1 Woodsman from Zippo Outdoor.
Well, now that my mom finally had her buck down, well, we were pretty excited because now it was going to be my turn to hunt. Now Mom and I, well, we were back in that hot blind and it was warm. We were sitting there, and as evening was finally coming, we were on a big open field, and this was a totally different place than her and I had hunted before. And finally we saw antelope coming over the hill, and they were coming to our field. These were on their way much later than what you'd normally think, and they were headed right to us. Now, as I'm trying to get ready and we're watching these bucks come, one nice buck is in the group. Lots of does and fawns, that's normal, but this was one nice looking buck. Now, as he was coming, he was at probably 80 yards, then narrowed down to 70, then 60, just moving in nice. And just as he was closing the distance, getting in close, a rancher happened to drive right on through and spooked all the antelope off. This was already getting late, and there just went my buck. And that's just the way it is. That's hunting. Anything that can go wrong, well, it does go wrong. Well, as we went back to camp, one of the other guys in camp actually had shot a beautiful buck. So we all went out looking for it, and this was just a gorgeous Montana deer.
What a buck, man. Like, this is honestly, that was a hunt of a lifetime, dude.
Biggest buck you ever killed with a bow.
Yeah. I didn't realize these were this long.
Yeah.
And that's one of those deer that you see and it's like, holy smokes, he would be beautiful anywhere. And it was fun to see. When you go to a camp, it's about getting to know everyone there and really enjoying everybody's success. Now this was going to be our last day hunting. Now my mom and I were headed out to a big open field. Now the nice part is it's kind of in the middle. Well, there was a little bit of water in there, but this was going to be a big field that a lot of these antelope come to. This was a buck heading our way. In fact, there were several antelope coming to us, and they had nowhere to go except right into our area. Now I had a blind and a decoy set up in the middle of the field. So we knew that if this buck comes in, if he spots our decoy, which hopefully he already would have, this could definitely be game on. For whatever reason, it just didn't happen. But in the end, all I really wanted was for my mom to get a really nice buck, and that worked out.
Jeff did an amazing job being our guide. He always was moving us and trying to find a buck, and he was even watching when I shot this buck, so he was paying attention when he should be.
Plus, we got to be in camp and see one of the biggest whitetails I'd seen come off the Powder River. So it was just a really good trip, and that's just the way it happens sometimes. This year, guess I just had a little bit of an antelope void in my schedule. Couldn't quite get it done, but you know what? That's what moms are for.
It was a great trip. It was fun. Bow hunting antelope in Montana. I guess I never really dreamed I'd be doing it.
She got it done for me, and we got to go home with a beautiful buck. Wasn't mine, but I was just as happy as if it was.